It's the middle of the night, and you're doing it again. You're scrolling through the highlights of people you used to know. You're watching them celebrate. You're watching them win. You're watching strangers effortlessly step into the exact life you've been begging for. And in the quiet dark, the whisper returns. The one that's been stalking you for months. You're running out of time, and everyone has left you behind. In the winter of 1872, the eyes of the entire world were locked onto an impossible dream. The Brooklyn Bridge. It was designed to be the eighth wonder of the world, a testament to human dominance over nature, conceived by the brilliant master engineer, Washington Roebling. But history has a terrifying habit of only remembering the names carved into the stone. Behind the closed doors of a quiet home, the master architect was broken, paralyzed, blind in one eye, unable to speak more than a few strained words at a time. If the city politicians found out the truth, the project would be violently stripped from him. His family would be ruined, his name disgraced, and the greatest engineering marvel of the century would be buried in corruption. So, in the heavy silence of this room, a secret pact was made in the dark. Emily would become his hands, his feet, his voice. She didn't start as an engineer. She was a housewife. But love does not look at what you know. It looks at what the moment demands. Night after night, while the city slept, she taught herself analytical geometry, the physics of cable tension, and the complex mathematics of stress deflection. She translated her husband's frantic, whispered thoughts into immaculate engineering orders. For 11 agonizing years, Emily Roebling lived a lie. To the public, to the newspapers, and to the laborers on the docks, she was merely a dutiful, quiet messenger, a fragile wife carrying letters from her sick husband's bedside. But in reality, she was managing the entire supply chain. She was calculating the precise tension of the steel cables. She was auditing millions of dollars in materials. She was fighting off the corrupt political vultures who wanted her family to fail. She was the invisible spine holding the largest bridge on earth in midair. She did not do it for a title. She did not do it for a badge or a raise or a standing ovation. She did it because when you love a vision, you are willing to let the weight of it crush your own youth. But imagine the quiet desolation of that existence, carrying the most magnificent burden in the nation while the world looks right through you and assumes you're just sitting still. As the bridge neared its final year of construction, the predators inside the city grew impatient. The board of trustees, men who had never stepped foot on a swinging cable, men who had never bled in the dark or lost their health for the dream, decided it was time to strike. They formulated a plan to officially strip Washington Roebling of his title. They called a public tribunal. They wanted a scapegoat to take control of the glory. And they fully expected a tired, broken housewife to walk into the chamber, bow her head, and surrender her husband's legacy. Think about the last time you had to stand before people who had no idea what you've been through. People who judge your worth by a checklist. They looked down at Emily and saw an assistant, a secretary, a convenient shield they could easily shatter. They had no idea they were looking at the architect. Emily stepped forward and addressed the room. Gentlemen, you speak of financial mismanagement and unexcused delays. Yet, looking at your own registers, I see that not a single member of this board has factored in the secondary stress deflection of the stay cables under an eastern crosswind exceeding 60 miles per hour. If you remove the chief engineer from his post today, you do not just remove a name from a contract. You remove the only mathematical mind in this state capable of preventing the center span from buckling and collapsing into the East River before the winter freeze. I am prepared to submit the full calculations to the governor today. The choice is yours. She didn't just defend her family. She completely dismantled them. She laid out the physics, the metallurgy, the structural logistics, and the political corruption in plain sight. She forced the wolves to stare into the mirror and realize they were completely powerless against a soul that had been forged in the dark room of delay. The board voted in silence. The title remained. The bridge was saved in first in-game. But when the gates finally opened in 1883, and millions of people flooded the walkways, cheering, crying, throwing flowers, history didn't give Emily a medal. She didn't get a monument. She went right back to the quiet room by the river, back to the unthanked, invisible routine, because that is the brutal, unspoken law of the pillar. When you carry a house perfectly, everyone steps inside and forgets that the walls are carrying the weight. Why does the universe allow this? Why does it feel like the people who love the deepest, the people who sacrifice the most, are always the ones left out of the credits? If you are currently sitting in your life, waiting for a human system, a human boss, or even the family members you serve to finally look at you, to finally validate you, to finally say thank you, you are begging from a broken well that will always leave your spirit starving. There's a magnificent, immutable law written into the spiritual fabric of this world, an ancient boundary that modern culture, with its addiction to fake applause and digital vanity, has tried to erase. Thousands of years ago, a sovereign voice dictated a truth to the weary. Your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. He did not say he only notices you when you are standing under the spotlights. He said he is the exclusive architect of the hidden places. The divine design has never been about begging the world to notice your value. The hiddenness was never a punishment. It was the sacred laboratory required to build a soul that cannot be corrupted. When you pour out your life in secret, when you love people who don't know how to appreciate you, when you hold the family, the business, or the ministry together while everyone else treats your blood as their entitlement, you are not wasting your life. You are performing the rarest, most uncorrupted act a human being can achieve. You are operating in the likeness of the divine. You are being forged into an anchor that doesn't need the world to clap for it just to keep the ship from drifting away. I didn't tell you the story of Emily Roebling so you could admire a piece of history. I told you her story because I am looking at her right now, through this lens. I know exactly who you are. You are the one who cleans up the house after everyone else goes to sleep. You are the one who catches the details your boss takes for granted. You are the friend who answers the crisis call at 2 in the morning. The sibling who carries the emotional baggage of the family, while your own heart breaks in complete silence. You have trained everyone around you to expect your strength. You have been so reliable for so long that they've stopped seeing the sacrifice. They just see a machine that isn't supposed to feel tired. And I know the terrifying question you've been fighting off when you close your eyes at night. Does any of this matter? Does anyone see what it costs me? Hear me clearly. Do not let their blindness make you bitter. The moment you let resentment poison your sacrifice, you hand over your crown to the people who didn't earn it. When you build a bridge for other people to walk across, the tragedy isn't that they forget to thank you while they use it. The tragedy is if you become bitter, stop holding the lines, and let the river destroy them. Your hiddenness is not a rejection. It is your consecration. You are being trusted with a weight that would instantly shatter an ordinary soul. The world may never carve your name into the marble. They may never give you the plaque, or the credit, or the apology you deserve. But the architect of the universe remembers exactly who held the bridge up when the storm hit. Keep holding the line. Your spring is coming.